Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Super excited to have you and everyone else here. Welcome to another episode of Plain Speak. Today, we are super excited to welcome Mandy Scott, the CX manager at Groove Life, a company known for its innovative and durable products designed for active lifestyles, like the world's first breathable silicone ring, which has now expanded to a full range of accessories from belts to wallets to watch bands for your Christmas shopping. Take a look. So Mandy's journey to customer experience leadership has been as unique as Groove Life's products. With a background as a registered nurse originally, Mandy brings a holistic and deeply compassionate approach to customer experience. Her journey, which we'll get into in a little bit here at Groove Life, started part-time, but her exceptional dedication to customer care, her knack for improving processes, quickly led her through the ranks. And so today, Mandy oversees a hybrid CX team of remote and outsourced agents, balancing onshore and offshore members while making sure every customer interaction reflects Groove Life's core values of quality, efficiency, and genuine connection. Love how in her role, Mandy emphasizes meeting customers where they are, making interactions as simple as possible, what she calls Fisher Price easy, so that customers can really enjoy their Groove Life products. In the world of 2024, Mandy's also implemented AI thoughtfully, using it to scale operations while ensuring that it enhances and complements rather than replaces the personal touch that her team and the Groove Life brand is known for. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited to hear all about your journey and the things that are currently underway at Groove Life.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be able to speak to that today. You want me to just jump on in?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that journey from registered nurse to, I think there's some homeschooling in there, to your role at Groove Life today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I worked as a nurse for 13 years. I loved it. It was something that I was very proud of. I loved helping patients, and that was a world that I was just very much thriving in. I got to a place, though, where my youngest daughter at the time, she was in second grade, and I also have another daughter who was 3.5 years older than her. But my youngest daughter was actually diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before, but that kind of helped to gear our lives to considering alternative ways of teaching or doing school because of just possible sickness and just being exposed to things. And so, I started homeschooling my daughters, and we did that for several years until they got old enough to do their work independently, which is the goal. And I've always loved working, so I found myself kind of bored, I guess you could say. I wasn't having to help them as much, and they were doing everything so well without me that I had heard about a little company around the corner in town called Groove Life, and they hired homeschool moms and homeschool kids because they worked through the week. And I was like, I think that might be something I'd like to do, because I didn't really want to go back to nursing and get so heavily involved in something so serious. I thought I could just go to Groove, do my thing, and come home. And so I walked in the door. I just totally walked in randomly one day, asked if I could work there, filled out an application. A few weeks later, was hired as a part-time rep who I actually helped with our try-on program at the time, which doesn't exist anymore. So soon after that, I think it was about a half a year or so, we did away with that, and they just went ahead and transitioned me into the CX. And so that started in June 2019, and I worked in CX part-time. And then I never thought I would do anything in leadership here, but I always kind of envied people who were being, they were being promoted or finding ways that they could help manage or lead. And as a part-time rep, that doesn't really open you up for those opportunities. So when I was considering full-time, I knew that would be the only way if I really wanted to grow and be promoted at all. So I made the leap with the encouragement of my husband, because I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't even know what I'm doing. How could I manage a team? So I was presented with the team lead role first. And so that was really great. I learned a lot in that year. And then when the opportunity came about for the manager position, I was asked if I would step into it. And I was like, are you sure you got the right person?
100%.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure you question yourself if you don't have a business background and you kind of wonder like, what could I possibly bring to the table? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to say yes. We'll figure
Yeah,
this out. And so that's what I did. I said yes. And so I've been in the manager role since last May of 2023.
I
Love it.
love that, Jer. So that was right when your youngest daughter graduated, right, from
Yes.
high school as well.
Yep.
I
Yep.
love that growth and
Absolutely.
progression. So, okay, so you started with them in, you said 2019, and that
Hmm.
was in person. The Groove Life office you mentioned is an old schoolhouse, like around the corner, it sounds like.
Yep.
Super cool. How was that? I mean, I bet a lot changed both just from the company growing, but then also, going all the way through COVID and then maybe offshoring. What was that transition like? Did you guys go remote during COVID? Were you all in house? What was that journey to growing the team across hybrid and offshore?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question. Obviously, whenever I started, that COVID hadn't happened yet. So everyone was in the office school
Okay.
building. And it was really, really important to our executive team and the company to maintain culture, which was kind of an anti-corporate, fun, people loving, type of environment, and it was really important to maintain that. And so over the years, we've really tried to keep it mostly local so people come in at least on a hybrid level.
Yep.
Um, but yes, when COVID hit, we were obviously able to go remote very easily. So our whole team did. And I'll be honest, like I was excited at first and I worked remote with the team and I wasn't in any kind of leadership at that time, but it was the hardest season. Towards the end, I just did not like being remote. I wanted to be with my people. I wanted to be in the office. I wanted to see the smiles and faces and laugh and joke. And so that was really challenging for me, to the point I actually had to call one of our other reps I call her our OG because she's been here for a long time. And I had
Yep.
to have her talk me off the ledge of, I don't think I want to work here anymore. This is too hard. I don't like it. And we did. We had that hard conversation, and she just encouraged me and reminded me why we're here. And so, soon as we were able to, we started getting back into the office. And then, of course, since we already were remote, we were able to kind of find a balance of hybrid in and out of the office, and that has worked really well. So,
I love that. I mean, what a great reminder that this really is about a people and connections business, right? And
mhm.
function where customer support, customer experience, yes, you've got efficiency, you've got tools, you've got all the new automations, but it is about that connection. And it sounds like because you had been in the office, you had these connections with your teammates, you're able to sort of draw on that, mid COVID when things were a little bit crazy as well.
Yeah, definitely. I needed my people, and I know we all wanted to be able to interact with each other. And we honestly had a Google Meet that we created for us every day. We would all call it our virtual office. So we did at least join that, and we mute it, and then we chat or ask questions. But you can't replace human connection in person, and that was what we really missed the most.
That makes a ton of sense, and it's really cool that you
Mhm.
have that hybrid connection there.
Yeah.
So what I always find interesting is how the way that customer support teams internally work often has some translations and parallels to how their customer service works on the customer side as well. So I know I alluded to what you call sort of Fisher Price Easy for your customers in my intro. Tell me a little bit about that. What is that philosophy about? How does that inform both how you think about sort of planning, projecting, forecasting for customer service, but then also how you think about coaching your frontline reps to sort of embody that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I really want things to be easy, and it comes from me because I need things to be easy. So if something's
Don't we
hard
all?
or it requires extra steps or anything like that, I abandon it because it's complicated, feels complicated to me. And if it requires too many steps or decisions, like I'm out. So it's really driven from me being probably one of the hardest customers to reach because that's how I am. And so I
Mhm.
just translated that into our team as far as the agents, our reps who work day by day. Like I wanted their workflow to feel easy and somewhat seamless. And part of that was restructuring and helping our team to be organized in a way that gave them really, really clear roles and expectations and what success looks like. And so beforehand, we were all doing everything. And
Yeah,
we had a manager and then we had, a couple of team captains, but everybody did everything. And so on that side of things, it just made it more complicated. And so one of the first things I did was kind of reorganize our team to be able to recognize what we were expected to do each day and the roles and give a good, clear path for growth. And so that was one of the first things I did on the rep side of things. I created a system or an organizational structure where we had a team lead, and then I had a rep who took ownership of systems, making sure, and that includes we may talk about AI, and
yes.
then yeah, making sure all of our tech and systems are working, as well as another rep who became more of our operations. So she's taking care of the scheduling and pay, timesheets and macros and things like that, just kind of more tedious operational things. And so that alone helped to give a clear path of growth for other reps to know, okay, I know exactly what I can need to do to be successful and a path where I could go if I'm interested in this versus that. And so that really made a difference and helped us to really organize and make it, our work internally a lot easier, as well as making sure what technology we use is easy and more.
Mandy, are you still with?
Oh, I am. I'm sorry. Did I cut out? Can you hear me?
Hi,
Hey,
Mandy.
did I
Sorry,
cut
that might
out?
be us. I'm not sure, but we are. Can you hear me now?
I
Wayne, we're back.
can. I
Sorry about
can.
that.
That's
But
okay.
we were talking about how the restructuring and leaning on people's strengths so they knew exactly what yardstick and what success looked
Yes.
like in each role was bringing a little bit more efficiency. And then I think I lost you there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think we lost too much then, and I'm glad we're back. So yeah, the main goal was just making expectations what success looks like easier for my reps, so that way they enjoyed their work, they were clear about what they were to do, and their day felt more successful. And then on the customer side of things, so I always compare it to Walmart. I always say we have to meet customers where they are, and so
Yeah.
giving them two options is kind of like what we call Fisher Price. I have a rep on my team who calls it that. She's awesome. When you Fisher price it, you make it simple, and people really just want to choose a lane. And so when I go to Walmart, sometimes I feel like going through the self checkout, and sometimes I don't feel like it, and I want someone to help me. And so I really want it to be as easy as possible for customers to get their answer on their own, where they never have to reach out to us necessarily. And so for me, that meant being successful with chats, having them on 24/7, available, integrating AI, because we know humans just you can't sustain, that's not sustainable, having people answer chats 24/7. So to me, that made sense. And then if someone really needed to be able to talk to someone, then customer service was easy to reach. And so that to me was really important, being able to give customers options and making things just easy as far as a self portal or self service. So that's with returns, that's um, asking for a phone call, just whatever it is, like we wanted it to be easy. So that was the goal.
Wow. So on the one hand, sounds easy. That's awesome. On the other hand, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. I think starting with the internal team, I really appreciate how you're really thinking through, okay, well, how do I make it? How do I not just make my team successful, but let me first define what success is for them, right? And we think about this internally a little bit as well, but you really do have every agent, every member of the team really is individual. And you have some folks who maybe are still part-time homeschool moms. And then you have folks who are, hey, I'm young, we're gonna go get it. This is sort of the career path. And everyone wants to see growth as well as that level of sustainability, right? So would love to circle back in a sec and double click on breaking out the different functions, and especially your AI tools, and sort of one, how you find people with the skill sets for that, and then how you encourage them to grow in those areas. Because I think there is a conversation about how the criteria for success as a customer service agent 20 years ago was a lot of voice, right?
Yeah.
The criteria for success today is a lot more digital fluency and a lot more being able to manage tools. Kind of curious what you think it'll be in 5 to 10 years, right? And then maybe we'll start there, because I'd love to also circle back on making things easy for the customer. But what about on the team growth side?
So on the team growth side, again, it goes back to how I was able to figure out what I was good at. And so just kind of basically thought through, you just don't know. If you don't know yourself, you really don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you would do well. So for me, I needed to know, what do I do well and what do I not do so well, so that I can lean into people who are better at that than I am. And so one of the things I did over the years was work on figuring out my strengths and weaknesses, which StrengthsFinder is one of my favorite personality tests. And I learned that 4 out of my 5 top are relationship based. It's not about analytics or, task oriented. It was literally people. And then my Enneagram was important for me to understand as well, because that kind of helped me to understand why I do the things that I do. So I married those two things, and it really helped me to understand my personality, my strengths. And when I think about leadership, first of all, it's influence. How do you get influence? Well, you build relationships with people. What is Mandy good at? Relationships. And so I had to really tap into and understand that that was part of my strengths, and that I could be confident there, and listen to myself and what I'm good at, and not be afraid to be bold in that area. But then what I did realize, that the areas where I did lack, I just had to ask for mentorship and help and guidance, research, and do those other things to help me along the way. But when it comes to my team, it's the same thing. Some of them are really good at being task oriented and checking off their list, and some don't want to be anywhere near technology, and let me organize events for the team so that we have fun together. Everybody's got different strengths. And so I always encourage that and remind my team how important it is that they explore and find out where they're strong, and then help us to know that. They have to let us know. And then if we can plug them in those areas, then we will, because that's important, that people are doing what they're strong at and feeling successful there. And then just reminding everyone, you're not going to be good at everything. So that's okay. That's why we all pull together and we make a whole, but we're all different and talented in different ways. And it's really, really important to me that they know what that is, and that we are able to allow them to operate in it as well.
Definitely double click on your strengths and find success by leaning on those and finding mentorship and support in other ways. I love that. Okay, so AI tools. Voice of customer. Tell me a little bit about those initiatives, what the goals have been, your experience, the people you pulled together from your team. How has that been?
Yeah, so it was so funny when I first took this role a year and a half ago. I had my quarterly one-on-one with the owner of Groove. His name's Peter Goodwin. So cool, nicest human. And we sat down, and one of the first things he said is, "What do you know about AI?" Well, I looked at him and I was like, I don't know anything about AI. So I knew immediately that was something he valued and wanted me to learn. So that was one thing I took away was, okay, Mandy, you got to figure out what AI is and understand it. And so I just took time. I demoed several different companies. I found out how they work, how they operate, what's good and bad, strong, what they're strong in. It just took so much time for me to really grasp the concept and then to find out really what we wanted and what was important to us, and then connect that with the company that could actually do that for us. And so that was a journey. I loved it. I learned a lot. I had a good time meeting people. I really enjoyed that process. But in the end, we found a company called Zowie who their AI. So my goals were to make it easy for customers to buy. And so that
Yep.
meant 24/7 chats and it working really well, being personalized, being conversational. And so I wanted that. And second, I wanted my reps to be able to know and be us to be able to calculate generated revenue in our department. That was really important because that
Ah,
brings value to the reps, not
yeah.
just how many problems did you fix, which is fine, but executives really want to know how much money you're bringing in.
Yeah, you're
And
not
that's
center. You're contributing to that sort of revenue
yeah,
engine. Yeah.
yeah, it's important and that's value. And so that was another thing that was very attractive to me was that feature of being able to track as a department how much revenue are we generating for, and as well as per rep, which encourages us to be shoppers with like shopper assistants with our customers, and really knowing products even more and being able to be skilled in upsells and cross sells. And it's shifting the way we operate as a team. And I would venture to say we're going to look a lot different to that question of what's it going to look like in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think most problems will be handled via AI or chat, self-service of some sort, and we will become more sales driven, more shopper assistance, and that kind more proactive, even though we are to a certain extent, but we're still bogged down with so much problem solving that it's so hard to get ahead of it to actually be proactive. So, yeah, I think the people who get successful there will be the winners in the future.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like customer support teams have been threatening to be a profit center for so long, but now with AI automation, we're actually getting the tools to be able to make that, a little bit more of a reality, which
Yeah.
is very, very exciting. Supervisor robots to do things like, all the logistics back-end tasks so you can engage with the customer to be sort of that sales and consultative experience.
Yes.
Super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Now, on that, I know we've talked a little bit about a VOC's or Voice of Customer program. Tell me
Hmm.
a little bit about that and how you thought about approaching it.
Yeah, so it's one thing to have all the money in the world and have the fanciest, coolest tech to be able to do it.
Yep.
And I demoed them. I had my favorite, but I didn't have the budget. So I had to get really creative and tap into my thrifty, budget friendly brain and say, okay, how can we pull this off without it costing an arm and a leg? So what I did was I had a rep who was on my team who's really good with data and pulling data and analyzing it and all the things because he had done it a little bit in the past. And
Mhm.
so I asked him, and he's part-time. It's not a full-time position, but he dedicates his hours in CX to literally doing his best to get innovative and creative ideas. But the main goal is to pull all data or customer sentiment into Chat GPT that spits out CX
Yeah.
sentiment reports. So he's able to, so that's like an ongoing thing weekly. He is able to report social comments and CSAT and NPS scores reports. And then along with that, also grew out, kind of developed this idea of other departments wanting information or finding out what customers thought of certain things, either their experience already or what would you like your experience to be, just kind of being able to be a little more intentional.
Mhm.
So he's a survey creator. He gets those questions set up and emails and is able to translate that into a really cool report that goes to whoever the person is that requested, which a lot of times is product development or go to market, brand, D2C. So it's really been neat to see, us being able to do this on a very, very budget friendly
Mhm.
way. But it's also serving our executive team, and they're able to get insights that otherwise we wouldn't have. So it's working.
Super cool. So it's basically sounds like leveraging some AI to basically like
Mhm.
review everything, but then using this data fluent person on the team and member to sort of like synthesize that right, and present it into
Yeah.
insights.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, there's something that comes to mind. Have there been any sort of unexpected insights that have come out of that?
Ooh, good question. So we're able to kind of pull off a little bit more on like holiday expectations, like for Black Friday, what do customers really prioritize? And so we were able kind of to create a survey specifically to that. But and that's in a lot of different scenarios, depending on what we want to know. So, but I'm trying to think if there's like anything specific, maybe just the demographic type of people that actually shop with us and like to answer questions and surveys. That's been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's always insightful, but I feel like overall, it kind of more of the demographic, but it's isolated to certain types of questions that we ask. But it's always good to hear what's consistent.
Yes.
And usually that's what we continuously are able to remind ourselves this is really working well. And so we know we don't have to worry about fixing what's not broken.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
That's
very
really cool.
helpful.
I mean, I think one of the big things that we found in using technology to help review more and get a little bit deeper on voice of customer is that you kind of if you're able to increase the coverage, you can sort of see what your like middle of the bell curve customers think as well, right? Versus in a more resource constrained environment without maybe technology to help synthesize and read and review everything, oftentimes we found that you're looking at the outliers, right? You're looking at the people who are really, really, really happy and went out of their way to tell you about it, or the people who maybe are really unhappy and had issues. But being able to leverage something like ChatGPT to review more has
Mhm.
helped us in some cases find a more holistic picture of what
Yeah,
customers want. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you right now, one of my very important reports is social because people will
Mhm.
go there. You'll learn so much from organic comments and people just reacting to not even prompted. They're just telling you how they feel.
I love that. That's genuine. That's real. For
Yeah.
social, out of curiosity, do you guys use any particular program, or do you have your teammate just go in and review?
Yeah, so our tech is Sprout, and we
Okay.
use Facebook and Instagram, DMs, comments, ads, and all of that. So, and we're also on TikTok, but we're not able to pull that information because it's a
Yeah.
different platform and it doesn't integrate with Sprout right now. So, yeah, there's some opportunity there for sure.
Yeah, so you get a full 360, and I bet it's probably slightly different demographics on each of those
Mhm.
platforms, especially, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I would venture to say it would be, yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, maybe I know we're coming to the end of our time. Lunch always goes so quickly here. As you think about, the next generation of customer service entry level agents coming in and looking to grow in their careers, what are maybe some pointers that you might have for them as skill sets that you think will become increasingly valuable over the next 5 years?
Yeah, and this is in regards to agents, CX
Yeah,
reps, you said,
agents
right?
just coming in, starting their customer
Yeah.
service careers.
Yeah, like, I feel like when I came on, all you had to do is be, like, really type and like people. But as technology's evolved so quickly, I think, 1, you have to be able to, roll with it, like, you've got to stay relevant and keep up with the technology and always be researching what's next because, it goes so fast. And so that would be super important to be able to do that, I think. And I do know, like, my daughters are the younger generation, and for them, they always want things that are authentic. They want people to be authentic, to be transparent, and I think that's gonna be very valuable as well, is always just being transparent and honest with customers and, understanding how tech works, chatbots, AI, all the things. I have no
Love
idea what's coming down the road. I'm sure there'll be something, but I don't think AI is going anywhere. It's probably just gonna get better and better, so gotta be familiar with that for sure.
the matrix. We'll all just plug in eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, Mandy, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here to talk a little bit about your journey through Groove Life and how you've grown and how you've implemented these new tools and programs. Any last parting words on what you're most excited about personally, professionally for 2025?
Oh goodness, I'm excited to see how far we get to go with AI. I love to see how we're going to evolve as a team. I think there's just so much possibility and opportunity to change and just become a different type of department. I don't think we're going to be problem solvers forever, and I think that's exciting because that can kind of weigh you down. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a new twist on the team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we develop and grow over the next year for sure.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see the entire CX function elevate a little bit. And I'll be excited to check in with you, Mandy, on how that's all going. But thank you so, so much for taking time out of your day and your lunch to join us. Everyone, Mandy Scott, Shopping for Christmas.
Yay!
Take a look at Group Life. Thank you so much, Mandy.
Thank you. So much fun. See ya.